Okay. Hi guys and welcome to another Britasia live. I'm Raj and I'm back with another live. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੁਪਹਿਰੇ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ live ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀ 1:30 ਵਜੇ with Shri Broad, but because of some emergency changes, we couldn't come live. So we are still going live with Rexstar because we've still got heads up from him. And I'm super excited. I'm just gonna complete my I'm gonna finish my coffee. I'm super excited now. As you can see, Rackstar is right there in the middle, but he's gonna be joining me now. So yeah, just gonna. I reckon he's live. I think he will be a prepared one. Fingers crossed. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I was just looking at the picture behind you, and I can see that that's
Can't
at
see
the.
anymore, but it was there. It was there. Yeah. How
Yeah,
are you, first of all?
yeah. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
It's lovely to have you live with us. I'm privileged to be doing a live with you, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? I don't actually do lives. Like, I don't really like. I don't think I can't even remember the last time I did a live. So this is like out of the ordinary for me.
Well, this is kind of like an interview slash live, but it's just
Okay.
a live interview, which people just don't do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's get into it then.
Let's begin. Okay, first of all, congratulations on the new track. 4 days ago, you released it, and it's doing really well. Forever
Thank you.
Johnnyman. Like after
Yeah.
quite some time, you did Johnnyman before, and now there's Forever Johnnyman.
Yeah.
Before I kind of get into your life and all of that, I kind of want to know what's the inspiration behind this one, because there's a lot of things you touch upon in the song.
Well, I mean, around November time, I realized that it was going to be 10 years in 2021 from when we released Johnnyman. Johnnyman was released February 14th, so Valentine's Day in 2011. And I remember speaking to Sunit, who produced it, and I was just like, we have to celebrate, like, it's 10 years since we released the original. So maybe we should kind of do like a sequel where we both grown, we both learned a lot as musicians, as people, and let's do like a mature version of that song, like who we are now, how we would approach that song and what we would do with it. And yeah, and then we had all this pressure. Like, I was like to Sunit, like, don't have any pressure when you're producing it. Just do this, just do your best and just enjoy it. And he did, and he was like, yeah, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying producing it. Then when he sent me the beat, I just couldn't write because I was just like, it's too much pressure. Like, this song it means a lot to me. It means a lot. It's done a lot for me in my career. People have such a emotional connection to the song. And yeah, it just kind of left me with a bit of writer's block, trying to process all of that. But yeah, I managed to just get it out of my head, and I just wanted to do justice to it. I didn't want us to affect the legacy of the original. I just wanted to build on that. And for people that had an emotional connection to the original, I just wanted them to have the same thing and just see how far they've grown as well when they hear the new version.
Yeah. And definitely you have done justice to it, because it is an amazing track and it's got such a strong emotion and connections to it, like with everybody, like the people that have heard the first one and we heard it when it released, listening to this one is definitely like a massive jump, and it feels good.
I appreciate that. I just wanted to see that, like, it's so funny. I've got so many messages from people that are like, I remember 10 years ago I was in college, or I was here and I was with this person, and then 10 years later this is, it kind of gives people that nostalgic feeling of what they felt when they first heard the original, and it helps you kind of like process, okay, where am I now, how have I grown, and what's changed in those 10 years.
Yeah. Right, so in the actual track as well, you did mention about the pandemic, that we've overcome a pandemic, but how have you kind of overcome the pandemic? How have you kind of lived through it? Because it was really hard, certainly for artists.
Yeah. It's been really, I'll be honest, it's been really, really difficult. I think it's the same with everyone. You have ups and downs. You have like moments where you're like, okay, I feel a bit motivated. I feel excited about what I'm doing, and I feel a bit of hope. And then we get thrown in another lockdown, and it's like it kind of affects you, and you lose all your motivation a little bit. So it's been up and down. There's been a lot that's happened over the last year. and it's not been the greatest year. So yeah, I would just say that it's been up and down. Even now, it's still up and down. Like for me, there was a level of excitement I had about getting this song out, which kind of helped me kind of focus and direct my energy towards something productive. But you don't have to be productive. Sometimes it's just waking up and making something to eat, doing a bit of exercise, and just you know focusing on just getting through the day. It's really, really difficult, and everyone's dealing with it the best way they can. But I think the good thing to remember is that you're not alone. We're all trying to get through this, and we will get through this.
Yeah, yeah. Rack starts 16 years in the game. I was literally counting before I came live.
Okay.
2005 up until 2021. I forget the year that we're in sometimes. How did it feel? This is such a long time and lasting so well, putting out singles every year, all albums, mixtapes, there's so much that goes in, staying a bit unique and having that little new touch to everything that you do. How have you lasted 16 years in the game?
It doesn't feel like that long. When you say 16 years, it seems like a really long time, but for me, it doesn't feel that long. I think for me, I'm excited about what I'm going to do next. So, I mean, last year I spent a lot of time just looking back at my career and looking back at what I've done, what I've achieved, and just having a bit of perspective on how far I've come. But it doesn't feel like that. I still feel like the best stuff I've got to give is still yet to come. I still feel like the songs that I've got in the studio now that I'm going to be releasing this year are like my best songs. So I'm still excited about that. I feel that I haven't reached the peak yet. I feel like I've had ups and downs, and I've had a bunch of different things some things have connected with people, some things haven't, but I've learned a lot, and I've still got a lot more to give.
Going back to the days where you made mixtapes and cassettes and you gave them out in high school and college and that kind of time, and then now looking at this time where you're putting out music and across the world people are just listening to the music, buying them. You're not actually physically going out to give it. People actually want to hear it. How does it kind of feel now? And then when you look back at the first few days when you were starting.
I think that's the thing. When I first started, I just wanted people to listen. I just wanted people. I used to burn CDs of my mixtapes that I would make, and I would give them out to people because I just wanted people to listen to what I had to say, listen to my songs, and just pay attention to what I was doing. And now it's I have an audience. People want to hear what I've got to say. People are excited about my songs. They know the lyrics. When I have shows, hopefully once this is over and we have shows again, people are singing the lyrics back to me, and it's exactly what I wanted. It's like I said, I've been looking back at my career the past year or so and just realizing how far I've actually come. And one of those things is looking back at the beginning and seeing how, as a new artist, you just want someone to listen to you. You just want someone to pay attention to you. And then when you have an audience, it's important not to take that for granted, because there was a point where you wanted an audience. We wanted people to listen to you, and we're still fighting for it. A lot of artists are still fighting for it. And now you've got so much stuff. You've got, streaming, you've got hundreds of artists, you've got Instagram lives, you've got everything, all this social media that wants your attention. So to have someone's attention, to have them wanting to pay attention to what you're doing and your artistry, I think is something to be really grateful for.
Yeah. I always like to talk about, and certainly for the British, Asian community, you've obviously, worked during those times where there was no digital platforms. There wasn't a massive thing about social media. Social media wasn't even around then. I think the only thing we had, it was probably MSN, but
yeah, MSN.
We didn't actually use it to send music. How kind of has it revolved for you, or how has it kind of changed or made it a bit harder now that you have to kind of cope with social media and all the streaming stuff, learn that, but then on top of that still have to produce music as well?
It's exactly what you said. You've got to learn it. Everything evolves. You just have to look at what's happening and how you can still remain yourself, remain true to yourself as a person, as a creative, as an artistic person, as an artist, and how you can utilize what these new social media apps do, you know? Like, I'm not someone who's going to be dancing in videos and doing like TikTok videos and, you know, crazy thing. That's not what I do. But how can I, you know, people connect to my lyrics. So how can I create content which connects to people, where they can see my lyrics? So you have to kind of see where you fit in. It is a whole different game now. You've got to, it's impossible to, it's not impossible, but it's very, very difficult for an artist to be successful and not have some sort of social media presence or be fully on social media. So
But you've
it's
also
hard.
had those days where, like, you know, it was more about going out and buying like music and then like, physically going out to sell your music as well. Now
Yeah,
it's a bit more like, you know, online. So has it kind of like made it easier for you, I can say?
that's a blessing because now you can release a song and, you know, in a couple of days, anyone in the world can have full access to it and listen to it, which is amazing. That's like one of the greatest things I think that the internet has done. It's leveled the playing field. There's no more gatekeepers. You can, you know, you can have your song where or video and deliver it directly to your supporters. So that's an amazing thing that's happened. It's just like I said, it's trying to figure out how you fit in and how you work around that this new like paradigm.
Yeah, yeah. Right, so this is the first time I'm actually speaking to you, so I really want to know. You know, you're from a Sikh family, and then coming into like rap music, certainly something a bit like away from like you know the Bhangra music industry, and working within this. How was like your family when you first kind of introduced this to them? I know this is going quite a long time back, but like how are they now and how were they before?
It's such a long. Let me try and remember because it's such a long time ago. Uh, it was. I was always like a creative person in my family, so I always had creative aspirations. Like I studied drama, I studied film. I was always into like creative side of things, even like from school and you know uni and college and stuff. So it wasn't like a big surprise to everyone that I was kind of pursuing something creative and I was doing music. Um, when I first started, I think there was just the fact of, you know, have something to have a backup basically. If it doesn't work out, if something doesn't plan out the way you want it to, just have some sort of backup. And that was what my degree was. Even though my degree is in like film and drama, it wasn't like a standard, like, you know, business or something like that degree. So I couldn't really fall back on it to the full extent that maybe someone else could if they had a more conventional degree. But yeah, it was just, you know, have something to back up just in case this doesn't work out. That's what it was told. But I never had to fight against my family and be like, this is what I want to do. I'm very, very lucky in that sense, especially like such a long time ago when there was no path. It wasn't like, oh, so and so's a Asian rapper and he's successful. Look at him. I want to do what he's doing. There was no one. So it was like, this is what I want to do. And it was, how are you going to do that? Because there's no one, I can't point at someone and say, this guy's done it, so let me do it. I just had to like pave a kind of path and just forge ahead and try and become something, which I think helped me. You know, I had a bit of fire under me to try and make that happen.
That's great. That's amazing. Right, you work with almost everyone in the industry, like in terms of like the UK, and you're good with everyone, you know. Do you think it's important to kind of stay like kind of friendly and like you know have those relations, or can you kind of just make it individually?
You know what? This industry is so small. You're going to bump into people.
Yeah.
It's impossible to do shows, be at events. Like, you know, you could show up at the Brazier Awards, and if you don't get on with someone or you got an issue with someone, you're going to see them there. You're going to walk past them. There's going to be an issue. And for me, I would prefer to have a simple life, get on with people. You know, you don't have to be best friends, hi, bye, whatever. I respect, like, and being an artist, I respect how much hard work goes into it. Like, a lot of people, you know, see other people being successful, and there's always some sort of rivalry, or you know everyone's competitive, which is a good thing, but it takes so much hard work to get where anyone to build a name for themselves. It requires so much hard work. So if there's that level of respect, and I have that level of respect with all artists, because I appreciate what it takes to get to where they are, how could I not, like, you know, be cool with people? It's not a I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't respect other people's hustle because I know what it takes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You've always kind of like, it's very rare that we hear you in the very, very like, Punjabi side. I think the one that kind of pops up in my head all the time is Jean Digal with Rob Gill.
Yeah.
But it's very rare that you've kind of collaborated with the India guys. Is there a specific reason for it, or you just, was there just never something that you want? Was that something that you didn't want to do? You wanted to stay in the UK stuff and the more Western sides?
I don't think there's been those like opportunities. I haven't had as many opportunities. I've done stuff, but most of the stuff I've done with like some big Punjabi artists has never been released or it's never kind of gone ahead. So there's a couple of Punjabi artists that I've done like features for and that I've done stuff for. That stuff's never kind of come out. So I mean, the the records that I've done with artists in India, it's been more like the rap side of things. So my record with Badshah, I've done records with obviously Prophecy and stuff. So these I suppose the thing is because I'm here, it's a little bit more difficult to work with artists in India when they come here. We have like mutual friends. I have people that take care of these artists when they come here, and I've tried to get in there a little bit and try and work. I'm up for working with them. I think it's having collaborations with artists, especially artists in India who are so talented, it just forces you to up your game and do things a bit differently. But yeah, it's not been something where I've been like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I do want to do that. I respect artists that have done that and done those collabs. So yeah, hopefully something more will come from that in the future. But yeah, I've done them, but they haven't been released. It's just the music industry. It's one of those things where you'll work on a project and for some reason or another, it won't come out.
Right. I do want to hear, I don't know, do you remember the lyrics to the first Johnny When You? I hope you do.
Yeah.
I want to hear that one first, and then as we kind of gradually talk, I want to hear the new one as well. But I want to hear the first one.
The first one, okay, once I get the first line, okay, I know I made mistakes and I done things wrong, didn't appreciate you until you were gone, but you're back now and I ain't gonna back down. Want to give you everything you want, that's why I rap now. I could be the dude that you dream of. I don't want to rush anything, I'ma ease off. And I know you're not after anything that he's got. Still here after I acted like an idiot. But right now I ain't got a penny to my name. But I promise you one day it'll all change. But will you stay with me while the times are tough for? Will you give up and say it's just too much? I don't want to waste my time or even yours. I don't want you getting jealous when I'm on tour. I don't want to lie to you, I'm just being honest. All I want from you is a promise. That was the first.
Right, one thing that I always kind of like, think about is how do rappers always remember their lyrics? Because it's like, it's so hard.
We don't. We forget all the time. You saw me then, like I had to kind of think because
you still remembered it.
It's like riding a bike. I think for me, once I remember the first lyric or the first two lines, I'll remember the whole verse. And that song I've performed like that song hundreds of times. So it's impossible for me to forget that.
Do you know how many songs you've done all together now? Like, if you had to count and you had to give a number to somebody.
It's got to be hundreds. Before I actually even came into the industry, so before I was even in 2005 when I stepped into the industry, I'd done like 150 songs by then already. Like I'd written songs and recorded them, and I was just working on stuff. So by then I'd done about 150. So now I don't know how many it'd be. It's hundreds, man, hundreds.
Have you got like a number? Because I have spoken to some artists and they have said like we want to reach that many like songs, in our life. Have you got a number as well? Have you set like a mark that you want to hit?
No. As long as something resonates and it feels good, I'll release it. But I don't have. It's not like a Guinness World Book of Records where I'm trying to hit like 1,000 songs I want to release. No, I'd rather focus on stuff that I want to put out. Even like I've got a bunch of stuff that I've never released and it'll probably never come out, but it's because I'm not happy with it. So I'd rather just focus on quality rather than quantity.
Yeah. Right, so let me take you back to like the first time you stepped on a stage and performed. Tell me a bit, do you remember the first time you went on stage and the first experience where like you had fans, or maybe not even fans, maybe it was the first time you were just performing and not a lot of people knew you. What was that kind of experience like?
You know what, the first gigs that I did were difficult. very, very, very difficult gigs to do because you would have a Bhangra gig and you would have Bhangra artists, and then you would have the promoter saying, "Oh, let's get a rapper or Rax, let's get Rax in." So I was rapping in English at a Bhangra gig full of drunk Punjabis saying, "Who's this Lallu? Get him off the stage!" Like, you know, whatever, whatever. So it'd be difficult. My house phone's ringing. Okay, cool. Don't worry. Don't get it. So, you know, I had to literally, you know, just soldier through these performances where you would get people, you know, not being very friendly to me. I remember those gigs. They were really difficult to get through. I think, to be honest, after Journeyman came out, that's probably where things kind of changed because that song kind of connected with people differently. So when I was performing, there was just a connection I think that people had to that song and to me. Yeah. So it wasn't as hard to connect to the audience. I feel like once you, as any artist, if you're a new artist, it's really difficult because people aren't there to see you. They're just looking at you like, who is this guy? And it's doable. I've done shows where people don't know who I am and I performed, and you know they respect your artistry because of how you perform and how you put your heart on the line when you're performing. Yeah. And people will connect to that. But it's difficult. It's winning the audience is really hard. But once you've had some sort of success with a song already and you perform it and people already have a connection, it just makes that performance, you know, that part of it just so much more easier and enjoyable as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want to be jumping on stage and people are shouting at you or swearing at you. Like, it's not fun. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have been on stage and I have had the experience where people are just like, can we get the artist on and get the MC off? Like, you know, so I know the feeling. But for an artist, obviously I can't put myself in the same shoes. But we're talking about shows. So, you know, the last show you probably did, like, you know, before lockdown or during lockdown, because I know some of the artists were performing during lockdown as well, because there were still weddings going on and, you know, destination weddings. And did you perform like recently, or what was the last
I didn't. I didn't. I had a show that was supposed to take place, I think, in November, and then I think a week or a couple of weeks before, I think lockdown was announced, and then that got cancelled. It was a kind of socially distanced kind of show, so I haven't actually had a performance since I think March last year. March last year was the last time I performed.
Yeah, yeah. When you're about to go on stage and like when you're about to do a show, what's the last thing you kind of do before like you kind of jump on stage?
I just give thanks. I just give thanks for the fact that I'm able to do this, and you know, it's always been like my dream to be able to do this. So yeah, I'm fully nervous as well. Like I get really, really nervous before I perform. Once I'm on stage, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm calm. I'm relaxed, and I enjoy it. But just before, the nerves kind of kick in.
Is this every single show that you like? Even now, like you still get nervous?
Yeah.
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 What's like been your best kind of like performance? Like one of your favorite ones that you've done? Like I know asking this to an artist is like the worst thing. They like every single show. But you know, one that you remember?
So I'll give you two. One is Norway. I've performed in Norway, I think twice or maybe 3 times. Norway is an amazing audience. They have this Milla every year, and I think I've done it twice. So big up everyone in Norway, because they were just, you know, jumping up and down, fully involved in the performance. They knew the songs. Beautiful, beautiful audience and crowd. So that's one. That's like a big kind of show. That's probably one of my favorites that I've done. And then last year we started doing these really intimate shows for my album Art Break, where it's like, you know, about 100 people in Pizza Express. So Pizza Express do these jazz shows. They have live shows for jazz musicians, and they were getting like other artists from different genres involved, and I was like one of the first Asian artists that they got involved. And these small intimate audiences, I performed my whole album Art Break, and then we did like a second half where I did more of the like hits that people knew. But everyone that was there like that knew my songs. They were fans. They were people that had been with me from like, 10, 15 years back. They were there to support. They knew the lyrics. It was just a beautiful environment. And the plan was to do more of those last year. Obviously we couldn't. So hopefully when this kind of eases up, we can do more of those. But that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Those shows were like probably my favorite shows that I've done.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Obviously, you've performed like, so many places, and like, being home and performing at home is obviously one of the best like experiences for everyone. Have you done a show in your city?
I done like in Luton, I did Luton Miller. I've done
Yeah.
Luton Miller a bunch of times. Yeah, that was cool.
How does that kind of feel like in comparison to like all the other shows?
It's strange, like, because I've had these conversations with other artists, and in most cases, where you're from, they don't show you as much love as other places.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. So I had this conversation with Humble, and I went to Toronto and did a show there, and they showed me a lot of love. And this was maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, and Humble was like in Toronto, and they didn't show him as much love as they showed me, because I don't know. This was like obviously 7, 8 years ago. Things have probably changed now. And when he came to London, he got so much love, and I was like, this is like the opposite. So we kind of understood, and we came to that conclusion where, for some reason, you don't get the same amount of love in your own hometown or your own home city as you do when you go somewhere else. I don't know what it is. I think it's some sort of human nature. Like, people think that you're from here, so you're not that special. I don't know what it is, but it's really, really like interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me pause you right there and let's listen to Forever Journeyman, because I think we've been talking too much, so we obviously have to hear a song as well.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, you want me to rap it? I thought you were going to start playing it or something. Okay, cool. So you want me to rap it? Okay. So I haven't performed this ever, so I need to try and like make sure I remember the lyrics.
It's exclusive, basically.
Yeah, I haven't done this live yet. Okay, cool. I know you forgave me for all of the mistakes that I made, and I'm grateful. You got my word as a man that I'll fulfill all of my duties, and every single promise that I made you. Our foundation is stable and we can build on it. I ain't in the booth, but I'm still honest. We've both been hurt in the past, but look where we are now and how we healed from it. It's you who I want to spend time with. Even if we're sitting in silence, people put their whole lives on social media, but we'd rather be happy in private. Could have gave up on us, but you never left. All the time and the effort and the love we invested. The promises we made to each other we have kept. If we change, then we change for the best.
I love this. I love the track. Honestly, like,
Thank you.
I think this has to be like, I'll be lying if I say this has to be one of my favorite tracks of yours, but because I do like more. But this is one of my favorites.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, man. Like, you know what? The amount of love that I've got for this song, I'm just overwhelmed, because it was so much, like I said before, so much pressure on us to try and get this right. And we just approached it with the same love and, gratefulness and gratitude that we had when we did the original. So for people to embrace it is really like rewarding.
Yeah, yeah. Right. One thing I want to ask is, like, I've been saying that for every single question that I ask, but another question that I want to ask is the fact that people might think that you don't know how to speak Punjabi because you rap mostly in English, and we see this really Western side of you, but I kind of want to know the very Desi side of you as well. So do you know how to, like, you can speak Punjabi properly?
Yeah. I can speak Punjabi. My Punjabi is like conversational, so it's a little bit sometimes tutti frutti, but I can speak Punjabi.
Like, I ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ question ਪੁੱਛਾਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ answer ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ?
ਆਹੋ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪੁੱਛੋ।
ਅੱਛਾ, ਠੀਕ ਆ, that's really cool. I don't know what to ask in Punjabi. I can have like a conversation in English now, but like, it needs to start in Punjabi to carry on in Punjabi. But you do know how to, like, do you know how to speak a bit of Hindi? I believe.
My Hindi is terrible. Please don't. Like, when I went to India and I was in Bombay and I was speaking Hindi, people were laughing at me because I would mix it with Punjabi because I don't know the Hindi words properly. So I'd be like, what did I say? I remember. Oh no, I don't even want to say anything. I just embarrassing myself.
Say something.
I can't even remember. It was just really bad. My Hindi is really, really bad. Like it's embarrassingly bad. I would just add Punjabi words because I didn't know what the Hindi words were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you go back quite a lot, like to India, or like is it now and then, or every year, one trip?
Generally speaking, I've been every year or every other year for
Yeah.
quite a while. Yeah.
Okay. What's the experience like when you go back to like India, like obviously now?
Um, I saw it change basically because I had a couple of projects that came out in India. We did some projects with MTV India as well. So I saw it change from me being able to walk around like just no one to people a little bit recognizing me, and then people, you know, in the airport kind of stopping me and knowing who I was. So it's been quite interesting just for me just to see like, the gradual um, growth of what my, notoriety is in India. It's been very, very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. What's like your favorite like Punjabi food?
Um, I really like partha.
Curry, that's an odd one.
That's a what?
That's an odd one. I've never heard somebody turn around and say curry.
That's like my curry dal is like my favorite. I like partha. I like all the funky ones. So karele as well. I'm having karele today actually. Um,
Do you make
what?
something yourself though?
Yeah, I cook. I've got like if people follow me on Snapchat, they'll see I'm always cooking.
Yeah, yeah. What's like the one thing that you love cooking? Like you love making that.
I'm gonna sound like a Gora now because I'm gonna put like spaghetti bolognese or something. Like that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite things to make. But I can cook all sorts of stuff. It's I enjoy it.
Apart from like singing, so I believe cooking is the next thing you like to do.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, like if music kind of like doesn't work out, I'm a trained as a chef, or I'm gonna open some like takeaway spot or some sort of food spot or something.
So I could see you in like the next Master Chef or something.
Nah, that's too much pressure. I don't think I don't think I can handle that pressure. I'd be, if they cussed my food, I would just be like, heartbroken.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of like, what's coming up next and like what are you kind of planning? What are we kind of expecting from Rockstar next?
I've got a bunch of songs. So, I mean, Forever Journeyman was me not trying, me like starting off this year how I mean to go on. So, it was just kind of like for me, it was like a reset. Like, okay, cool. This is everything that I've done for 10 years up until now. Forever Journeyman. Let's let people know that this is who I am and what I can do. And then I've got a bunch of songs that I'm working on. I'm really excited. They're probably the best songs. Like I said, I feel like they're my best songs that I've ever written, and I'm excited about them. So that's coming this year. I'm not stopping. I've got a lot
Is it
of
going to be
music.
quite back to back, or like we're going to have like
Yeah,
pauses or?
yeah. It's gonna be very consistent this year. That's the plan. I've got a lot of people that I'm working with that are just as dedicated as I am. So yeah, it's very, very consistent this year. That's the goal.
Yeah, 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 that's super exciting. Rex, I love one of your tracks, and this is like my favorite of yours. I've heard it on loop so many times, and I still listen to it, and it's so old. I remember watching it on vacation as well when I wasn't working here, like when I was like not a little kid. That's gonna make you sound really old. But the track "June the Gun," I don't know if you remember
Okay.
it, but I love it, and I would love for you to sing that.
Oh man, hold on. That's gonna be difficult because I can't remember how the
Can I request another one then?
go on.
Ki Kargi is another one that I really like.
Yeah, Karge, I'll know. So, ਦੁਨੀਆ में ਵੇਖ ਲਈਏ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਬਥੇਰੀਆਂ ਪਰ ਤੇਰੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਲੱਭੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਾ. I ain't ever been that lucky when it comes to women, but you came and I've forgotten every scar. I'll come to where you are, catch a plane for your love. Just send me your location up in La Balumera. ਤੇਰੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਨੇ ਹਜ਼ਾਰ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਡਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ. ਮੁੰਡੇ ਤੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਫਰਕ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਵਖਾਵਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੱਚੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਝੂਠ ਮਾਰਿਆ ਤੇਰੇ ਤੇ ਅੱਖ ਰੱਖੀ ਰੂ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਆ ਤੇਰੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਨੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਗਾੜਤਾ ਲਵਾਂ ਸਾਹ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰੀ ਜਾਨ ਆ.
That's amazing. That's so nice. I love it. Rex, I absolutely love speaking to you. This was the first time I spoke to you, but honestly, I don't know like why we haven't done an interview in the studio yet. Maybe it's because of the lockdown.
I think so. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely have to come down, and I want to hear stuff live, like proper live in the studio.
It will be. I might be a bit rusty because I ain't done it for a long time. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll do my best.
it's all right. We'll just like perform a little gig in there, like just in the studio.
Let's do it. You can play the tabla or something, and I'll
I
do the
wish
rap,
I could play the tabla, but I'm gonna be really bad, really offbeat, and really off like whatever it is.
and we'll do it. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, right. It has been lovely to speak to you. I'm really excited to hear whatever you've got in store, and like as you're saying, you've got a lot coming our way.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say to everybody that was listening?
Just thank you so much. There's so much love. I've seen all the hearts. I've seen like a bunch of the messages that have come through. Just, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all the love and support. Thank you everyone at Brit Asia. Like, from day one, everyone at Brit Asia has shown me so much love and support. And amazing the job that you're doing and everyone's doing at Brit Asia. And just thank you, man. I really, really appreciate it. And loads more music. Hanji Hello. It's all happening.
Thank you so
2021.
much, Rax. I hope you have a lovely evening. Enjoy your
You too.
grill, I think.
Thank you. I'm so excited about eating the grill, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a lovely evening. Thank you so
You
much.
too. Take
Take
care.
care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.